Live from the BOD studio, it is Playin and Slayin, episode number 98. That is dangerously close to 100, which will be the end of the show. I'm just kidding. We won't stop. We'll keep going. But
If we reach
is
100, we may never reach. We're so close. It's like we're gonna keep climbing. We're like, oh, we're so close that 100 is just out of reach. It's always out of reach.
just wait till we release 99.1, 99.2, because we want to savor it. Speaking of savoring it, 2025 is over, but we are recording this in 2026, and we are going back to the year prior to talk about a few of our favorite things from 2025. Joined, as always, is Troy, the Bodfather himself, the Hall of Famer.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year to you guys.
Still a Hall of Famer in the year 2026.
Still a Hall of Famer. Never stops. And back, joining us from a basement somewhere in northern Wisconsin, our dear friend Bryce. Bryce, glad to have you joining us.
It's great to be back.
It's good. It sounds like you got kidnapped or something. It sounds like you got kidnapped, like from a basement somewhere in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like he's a captive or something.
Well, we can't disclose his location. We don't want to dox Bryce on air. That'd be terrible. All right, so we will get through the things we've been playing, hobbying, reading, and whatnot, and then we'll dive into our favorite things. So without further ado, when you're playing and slaying, it is important to stay hydrated. So I hope both of you are prepared with a beverage, because that'll be awkward if you're not. So I'm going to make it awkward and go to Bryce with his cup of water.
No water. I got these Jolly beers. It's like Jolly Good, but beer form. And this is the orange creamsicle.
Yum.
Quite enjoyable. It definitely tastes more like soda than beer, but hey, that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Every so often you need a little sweet beverage. That's good.
Yep.
Have
you guys tried them?
Though. I can't remember if you had those when I came up with Josh over the summer. You may have.
Yeah, they make all the classic Jolly Good flavors now in beer form. So if you're ever like, man, I wish I was 9 again, you can do it as an adult.
Cool. And what brewery is that?
Stubborn Brothers.
Stubborn Brothers.
All right. That's got to be Wisconsin
somewhere.
Yeah. Because Jolly Good was a Wisconsin beer, right?
Yeah.
Or soda, right?
Yeah. Shawano. Where's that, Troy?
What do you mean, where's that? Just north of you. It's just west
of
Green Bay.
That was a test. Speaking of tests, Troy, what are you drinking?
I am drinking... this was recommended to me, Door County Trolley Red Cherry Lager. We're going fruit. Yeah, I guess sweet beers tonight.
Yeah.
By One Barrel I think they're in Door County, Sturgeon Bay-ish, something like that. It's lager.
It looks like a can of tomato paste.
Yeah, it's just fluid with Green Bay. They're from Green Bay.
It's Green Bay.
Bryce, you know where Green Bay is? Do you know where Green Bay is?
I'm going to totally
I think it's just east of Shawano, maybe?
But this is recommended. We were in, if you're in Door County, I'll be very local inside baseball, but Renard's Cheese, which is like the touristy place you go when you're going into Door County. It's right at the southern edge of Door County as all the tourists come in from wherever, and they have all kinds of cheese. They're just full of all, including there's a girl in there, and she saw me looking at, they were pretty good alcohol, whatever. Then she's like, "Oh, you look in this, you should try the Cherry Red." So she made a sale, and I'm like, "Sure, I need something for that." So it's
I got by a lady in the liquor store who it was at Festival of all places, and I was looking just before Christmas for a beer, and she pointed out this. I don't even remember the name of it's a small chocolate factory in Neenah, and they partner with a local brewery. And she's like, "This is the best one that they've made, and all the time they've been making it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to try it." I don't even look at it. I just buy it. Gets Christmas, and I'm reading it, and it says the second annual brewing of this beer. It's the best one yet, but it's only the second time.
Got.
Yeah. All right, Ty, what do you got?
Well, I am not drinking anything fruity nor beer. I am having some whiskey, and a glass of whiskey is not alone because there's a story with this one. So this is the end of the bottle. It's got a
I
cool
see.
like Western thing. See the twister with the cowboy. So this is Hell is Not Mocked. It's a Texas whiskey by Find Familiar. So that's Matt Lillard's distilling company that did all the Critical Role whiskeys. This one is just a Texas whiskey. So it's not like a bourbon, but an American whiskey that came in a really cool box with a short story. And Troy, I'm just going to hold it up and let you see who the author is.
Yep.
So it is a 32-page short story by the best author of 2024 and 2025 and 2026, Christopher Buehlman, who wrote The Black Tongue Thief. But it starts with a hanging in West Texas, and the outlaw being hung, his boss has struck some kind of deal with the devil is the idea. So Texas in 1882, and it is a Western horror story by Christopher Buehlman. So the bottle is gone, but the book is forever. And I didn't know that Matt Lillard and Christopher Buehlman have been friends for a very long time.
That's what I was like. I need to like do
Yeah.
some backstory and understand how that connection got into place. Yeah.
Since they were young men, evidently.
Yeah. Wow. Because
And
Buehlman was Florida, right? I thought, or I
yeah,
don't know if I know
think
he's there
so.
now, but I don't know if that's.
And I think that's where Lillard was from as well. So I don't know how they met, but like the blurb was like that they knew each other from being young men. So
that's pretty cool.
I'm enjoying my last glass of that bottle. So
How many bottles have you bought from them?
4 different ones.
A lot, because he's bought some and gifted them to me too. So
2 Critical Role ones, this one, and then they did like it's kind of like a tequila, a Sotol that was with a Mike Flanagan short story that I got for Nicole because she's a big Mike Flanagan fan from his Netflix shows. So, but yeah, every so often I see one, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Add it to the cart, buy the pre-order, and haven't been disappointed. Like you're paying far more for the experience than the booze, but I don't know, cool bottles, cool books, like.
Yeah, I'm tempted by literally everyone that comes out.
Yeah. I wanted to buy like the Paladin one or the Druid one. Like they're always
the Druid one
intriguing.
like had in my cart 10 times probably. I always just worry it's like, oh, this is just like rail whiskey, but in a cool bottle.
And like I don't actually know the product. Find Familiar, like this one was distilled in Texas and bottled in Jacksonville, Florida. So like I'm assuming they shipped the barrels and then did the bottling at their location in Florida. But yeah, good stuff, worth checking out. Find Familiar is their distilling company. All right, that's enough about the whiskey, though.
For more shows like this, check out the Goonhammer Media Network. More info at media.goonhammer.com.
All right, let's get to the gaming table. I'm going to go first because I've done no analog board gaming because my friends left town and didn't invite me to anything since like December 15th. So I have been spending most of my time playing computer games, one of which is a new MMO that released on December 11th on early access called Ashes of Creation. Several years ago, I did some podcasting with a friend of mine, Mark, like theory crafting and talking about this game when it was early in the development stages. And now it came out at least in a medium that like I could experience it. So a bunch of guys that I've played other games with were diving in and went pretty hard, pretty fast into it. So that's where I spent several hundred hours of December and January is leveling up a cleric in an MMO, which like I quit WoW and I never looked back, and it had been over a decade, and I feel like I'm twice as addicted as I ever was to WoW with this new drug, Ashes of Creation. So that's all I've been playing, really. Nothing else. I had maybe one D&D session with Matt and Elena and Tom, and now it's just been that. No board games.
But yeah,
Pretty lame.
I played more games than Ty.
Yeah, I know.
How's that possible?
We played at family Christmas at my in-laws with dollar scratch-off lottery tickets. We played LCR, left, center, right, or whatever. The
yep.
dice game.
Yep.
Yeah. So I rolled
like
some
that.
dice. Yeah.
There you go.
I played a game on Christmas. It's actually, I'm going to bring it to the Weekender because it's a fun little, like, take up 15 minutes of your time game called Abduction. And it's kind of called a strategy game where there's a center board of formations you're trying to achieve with your ducks that are floating in outer space. And so you get 10 ducks on a card, and you get 3 maneuvers in your hand that you can play to move your board to try to get something that's out in the center, and then whoever gets the most points from the center wins. And you refill your board and stuff like that. So it's just a fun. I always try to like never let Cards Against Humanity out of the cupboard at Christmas because I hate those games with a passion. So I always buy a new game before Christmas that I can let children play and get the adults kind of into playing. So just easing a little bit further down the strategy every single time, and before you know it, they'll be playing like something real with me.
Before you know it, Bryce is going to roll up to family Christmas with Twilight Imperium.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's
like, here's what we're doing today.
This is going to be 9 hours. Buckle up.
Yep. All right. So I think I have a list. I will run through this quick. You guys might have to ask a question here or there just so it's not a monologue around some of that. So I did get some stuff, but it's been a while. Like this is really going back almost more than a month, though, all of December. And maybe I'll do a little bit in chronological order. Eric and I have been continuing to play this year. It's been, Kill Team and Combat Patrol. We got Kill Team because Eric got the new Wolf Scouts painted up. We wanted to get those to the table. So I've just stuck with my Necron Kill Team that I've had for a while. The good news is I actually beat him because he didn't know his rules yet, which was good. So there's it's the new one, right? You have to pull it back a hair tie. There you go. So I can see that's the new one, the Canoptic Circle. I run the previous one, the Hero.
Oh, so not the new Necron one.
No, I run the old one. I have that one still in my big box that I have to put together Tomb World at some point. But yeah, so I've played mine a few times. Yeah.
The box I couldn't get. Yeah, that Troy still hasn't taken his terrain out or his.
Not really. Yeah, I keep looking at it. I think Eric's gonna have his assembled. He was building the train, so I'm like, oh, I might not even have to build the train. But it's pretty cool. So that was that. I think the highlight there was actually one, which doesn't happen very often. We continue to use what is the Goonhammer app? Whatever. The Goonhammer app is awesome. What is it? Tabletop something for your iPad. Awesome way to keep score around that. I don't know my next. We are John and I played Zombicide Invader because we're going to run it at Midwinter coming up this weekend. So we're like, well, we're doing the other. We had done a second scenario and that had been sitting on the shelf for a couple of years. So we're like, let's dust off that train and do some of that. So we played that way. The Packers lost. So I can tell you that was week 17. So that tells you what time that was when we were watching the Packers lose that. We're doing Invader. So it's always kind of fun, especially on our train. Then Sarah and I played a couple, I remember what it was back a while ago. We actually we went to like a real escape room, I think as part of my niece's birthday. And Sarah really liked the real, I wasn't sure, a real world escape room. And so I don't know, a few weeks ago, I'm like, well, we have like an escape room board game, Unlock. If you've seen the one like Unlock, or I don't know what the other is, Exit, I think are the other ones you see a bunch. Um, and So, and that's Unlock is a pretty nice one. You have an app that lets you do the hint. It counts out. You have an hour, which is also nice for
Oh, because it
like
used to be all cards
it
Unlock,
is
right?
cards, but there's a like the
Companion
hints.
app?
Yeah, there's a companion app that counts you down, gives you an hour, and then also there's the hints are in the app. So which was great because then again, younger, only so much patience, right? It's like, oh well, and you get a little hint, and so, and actually, I mean, because I'm also like not gonna, I'm like, it's fun to solve it, but I'm like not gonna beat my head on against it. But it was a lot of fun because it is just that, and so Unlock, which is different than the Exit game. Unlock is like how you say, it's just a deck, and you're not destroying anything, so you could like give it to basically you could give it to somebody
Yeah.
else and they could play it and whatever. Whereas the Exit ones, I think, are you kind of use
Manipulate
them
some of
up,
the
manipulate
pieces
things,
or
yeah,
yeah.
and they're kind of a one play out of it. So, so it was fun. It was a blast it was fun, and and we did probably take a little more than an hour because you can pause the timer. And so as we got to towards the end, we're like, we're gonna solve this, and we're gonna. We paused it to take a little harder look at some of that. So, so it was a lot of fun, and so I'm sure we're going to do that because I don't know, I've collected a few of those over the years, and they're sitting on the shelf, so it'll be good to um, work our way through that. Then my Christmas ones over Christmas when we had the family up there played Coyote, which is the Tim Ferriss version game. It's a really just a goofy party game where you kind of lay out cards and you're doing little gestures in a row, and you have to kind of memorize it. And then there's cards that just make those gestures harder, so you have to like um, tap the table and things like that. At first, I'm like, this feels really kind of, but when you had a group, again, it's total just fun party. So when we had the kids and adults kind of around a table, it ended up being a lot of fun around some of that. And then Flip 7 is like a version of blackjack on steroids, maybe a little bit. I think, Ty, did we play that with um, my coworker Arthur?
He
Had shared
brought
it to
it,
me. He
but
brought
we
it. Oh, maybe
didn't
we
play
didn't
it.
play it. We didn't play.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he had showed that to me, so I actually picked it up because it's just a deck. It's not. I don't know what it costs. I think it was at Target. Like it's available at that. And basically, you're kind of playing hands or kind of where you're trying to basically it's a push your luck game. You collect points. There's a couple cards that can either give you a second chance, but you're basically trying. I think you're trying to get 200 points, and it's a winner there. So real quick, kind of fun, nice little filler game around some of that. So again, good kind of family crossover. Not quite, yeah. Like it's not not super simple, but it's fun to play with other people and get a kick out of that too. So. And then New Year's Eve. Well, I don't know. It was kind of over New Year's or whatever. Again, Sarah and I, because she's the person who's here that'll play games with me. Um, is we ended up playing. I remember Santorini.
Yeah.
So that's it looks
Stacking the White
stacking
Houses with the
the
blue
White
roof.
Houses. It's kind of like, I don't know. I would say it's not like tic-tac-toe, but it feels like it a little bit. But you're basically you're moving you have two people. You move and then you're building these towers that look like the Greek island of Santorini, so blue and white. And you basically the goal is for one of you to get somebody up to the third level of one of the towers. And then you win, but at the same time, your opponent is constantly trying to block you and move you, and while they're trying to do the same thing to get up. And that, and so yeah, she really again thought it was a lot of fun. So and it's one again, you play for whatever 5 to 10 minutes at the most when you're doing that, and then you re-rack and try again and whatever. So it was I think we ended up playing a couple days. One of those like New Year's Eve that was we were just sitting down here playing games and games of that as we were watching the ball drop or whatever. Some of that. So that was fun. I hadn't broke that. It had been sitting on the shelf for a while. It had been a long time since I broke it out, and I thought, well, maybe we should begin because of the cool kind of plastic components. Again, it's cool to
Yeah.
get some of
There's
those
some
too.
tactile, like
Yep.
something to do. It's not just cards or a board.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
And it does have there are additional cards to give your people whatever they like break a rule. So you can basically if you want to play in a more advanced version, like you can give each of you gets a card, and it gives your little guys some extra rule or some way that they break a rule if you want to kind of amp the difficulty level on it or something like that. And again, it plays best one-on-one. There are some rules in there for playing kind of 3, or you can do teams, 4 people and kind of a teams thing too. So kind of it's getting in that classic area. It's been around for probably, I don't know, more than 10 years, I want to say, something like that too. So and then last but not least, uh, we did, and it was mostly Sarah again, was I've talked about, she's been doing, they do what they call Dragonlings D&D, where it's with the Dragon Sandbox, which is a local Milwaukee group that runs kind of, what do you want to call it? Um, I don't know, what do you want to call it? What's the right word for it? Whatever. They're doing pay to play kind of D&D, right? They do it at a couple of restaurants. They do the at Old Guard Games, and then they are doing it now at Beyond the Board. Again, sorry, very local, which is a lot closer to me in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And so they were running one there last weekend, and I'm like, well, let's try that. I had not been in, I'd driven by, but I've never been in there, so I wanted to go in there. It'll be interesting to see how it went. So it was a lot of fun. Again, it's especially the Dragon Links can be well, like any of it. It's like when you go to these things, who's at your table makes so much difference, right? It's a little hit and miss. Good news is Sarah cares a lot less than I do about the whatever. Especially with the kids, you can get a wide range. I think she really lucked out. She actually, Dan, who's the guy who organized it, actually ended up being the GM because he usually doesn't GM, but he was filling in for somebody. And it was her, I've talked about in the past, it was all girls. This one she was actually the only girl, but it was some older kind of more teens and a couple dads. So a more mature table, people who had played. So I think she had a really good experience around that too. So
Nice.
again, we'll probably keep, again, she doesn't care as much, especially if it's at Beyond the Board. It's a little less investment. I'm not driving 40 minutes for a hit or miss kind of game, right? So we were in the summer, I might go Old Guard because it's a little easier to get down, but in the winter it's that. So
do they keep their characters and keep progressing, or is it
you can so they're all one shots, but the kind of what I call it, the rules, or what they do is if you, and it's smart, because what he's encouraging to do is kind of keep coming back, is every time you come, she has a folder that has like her stuff, and then you get a sticker for each time you play. And then I think it's on your fifth time, like normally all adventures are usually 4th level characters. If you're like a veteran and you have like 5 stickers, then you can level up your between sessions. You can call them, and they kind of, they have like a Discord or whatever, and you can level up, and then you can have a 5th level character in the adventure for some of that stuff too. And I think
can you get to 6
like 10? I think you can get to 6. I don't know if you can get beyond like 6, because then you start to get. But I think if you have like 10 or whatever, and you don't have to. You could go and you decide, hey, this time I'm going to play a different character around some of that stuff too. But some people, like Sarah, like continues to play her character, but if she gets bored with it, she can. They have a whole bunch of pre-gens sitting out that people can choose from. So
excellent.
That's it. So I tried to play a few games, and thankfully, like I said, I have a live-in 13-year-old now who's getting to the point where I can force her to play games with me. It's really not force her. I have to find this. I get lucky. I keep throwing ideas out, and every once in a while something sticks. That's
all right. So Troy held it down for us gaming, Bryce. I think you may have started a 2026 hobby sprint though, or hobby distance run. I don't know. So let's talk hobby. And what have you been up to on the painting table?
Yeah, I listen. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Jesse Itzler at all. He's a kind of a motivational speaker that's done a lot of really cool things. If you're not, you should check him out. But he is big on planning your year and like setting I forget the exact name of it. It's a Japanese word, but a big goal that you set for yourself. This isn't that, and I don't have one of those yet. But I wanted to do something with these boxes of junk over here that have a ton of plastic in them. So I set a goal for myself that feels very easy now that I've done it, but we'll see how we keep progressing. So I wanted to paint 26 MCP models this year, which is one every other week. Feels very reasonable. And I started building with the Phoenix model that came out recently, and Phoenix has always been one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe, and I think Troy too. That comic book stretch of the Dark Phoenix is one of the best of all time, and really where the love came from for Marvel for me. And so I started there, and I was having so much fun building it. I just built 22 other models, I think I'm up to now, and based them. So we're off to a very good start. It's the 6th at the time of recording, and I've already built, but the goal was to build them all so I can prime them and actually break my airbrush out again and do some airbrushing. So it's a good start to 2026, but 6 days with 359 or something to go we got a lot of work to do.
All right. But you got a good start. You got momentum. That's good.
Yep.
Excellent.
How about you, Ty, with all that video game time? You got any hobby in?
I did. I started painting, and just to prove there is some paint on models, I started painting some of my
there we go.
Lone Guard for Relic Blade, and having some fun with some greens and browns and just like messing with the cloaks and the leather, because they're kind of like, you get the idea, like they're rangers and like but yeah, so I started painting those guys. I primed some other Relic Blade models, hand priming, because I got lazy and didn't want to go outside and figure it out in the wintertime. So I've been using some Pro Acryl brush on primer, which is very good. Yet another product they make that is fantastic. So
have you sealed them yet? How many times have you sealed them?
I sealed it after the priming, and then I plan on sealing them once I get my base colors on, and then doing my highlights and probably sealing again. But
because those guys are metal, right?
They are, yeah. The brush on primer went on pretty well with 2 coats. I didn't do just one because I feel like primer on metal gets a little streaky, for whatever reason, especially black. So like I did 2 coats, and then I dry brushed up. So I did the sealant on the black, then I dry brushed up the zenithal, and then I've been doing some contrast paints, and then I'll seal it after that, and then I'll do some highlights. So
you gonna oil wash them?
I don't want to get that crazy. I don't feel like I could do. I feel like I'll ruin them.
You can have Dr. Gabe coach you through it. He'd be so proud of you if you did it.
He would be. He really would be. But yeah, so doing some Relic Blade hobby, because I'm hoping my friend Bryce will play some Relic Blade with me in a couple weeks.
I did paint that too. I forgot. I don't know if I can't see my own camera, but I started this guy, and then I was an idiot and was like, I'm going to do non-metallic metal, and then I got a little frustrated and slowed down on that. But I got 3 left to paint by the weekender, so we'll be fine. We'll make it happen.
Troy, how about you? What have you been hobbying?
I did over years I have this box every year I do a little Christmas diorama that I put out over. This year it's over there, and it has, I think I've done pictures. It has a lot of these. I don't know where I ever got these, where like these weird Christmas models. There's like a Christmas tree kind of monster. There's Santa with his things. There's some evil presents that look more like mimics, and elves. And then there's some elves, like an elf with a crossbow. This year, I usually I always am like, oh, I'll paint these up. And usually what I do is get 1 or 2 done. And then I'm like, oh, then it's Christmas. And then I'm like, well, now I'm not going to do it. I'll wait till next Christmas. And I put them away and pull them. But I did get 1 more elf done this year. I think I did a couple more of the little packages too. Elf who's got a candy cane that he's got a club to fight off whatever the Christmas zombie reindeer. I think there's a zombie reindeer that I have painted that's in there. So I know at some point it all goes back to zombie. I need to make a custom Christmas Zombicide scenario with these characters probably at some point when I get them all done. So I did that, and then
you imagine a horde of zombie elves, just a massive horde of elves. coming at Santa's workshop, and Santa is
Well, see, I do
trying to
have this.
pack his sleigh and get out on time before the zombie elves overrun his workshop.
I
Oh,
did.
it's a
I mean,
survival game. How long
Yeah.
can Santa survive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, the White Death, the newest thing from Zombicide, Black Plague, which is White Death, is totally set up for like a siege. Like they have the wall. As John and I saw this, it was like we played it and we're like, oh, there's just so many good ideas. Like scenario ideas you could do here of just having the zombie thing coming at the wall, trying to survive. Yeah, and definitely one of a horde of the story. The elves get infected.
An
Santa's got to
artifact
get
item
out.
could be
Yep.
Santa's list. It could be a magic scroll that has a naughty or a nice like effect. Rudolph could be one of the characters that you play. Like,
Yep. He's got some magic, right? Yep. So yeah, so that's it. And then the other real zombies I was talking about, the scenario John and I are running. So as I dusted that off, that one I just cleaned up a little bit, because when we had done it originally, we had done it for, I think for Adepticon, it was one of the extra scenarios. So I only did what I needed to do. It wasn't as up to the standards I would have want. So I went back and just painted up some more of the terrain a little bit. Cleaning up some of the models for that. So I've just been doing that a little bit. I should just say I'm done and put it away, but it's out over here, and so I'm always like, oh, I should put a little bit of, you're never done unless, I'm like, well, I can make that look a little cooler, make that look a little cooler. So probably until Saturday noon, when I have to pack it up and take it over there, I might keep tweaking a little things. So
That's why you're a Hall of Famer, Troy.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like a version of procrastination, because I'm like, there's other more important things I could be doing, but instead I'm just like, I could do this.
and now I believe the next thing on our agenda, Troy, is likely your contribution. I'm going to guess, and maybe as we move from hobby to your other hobby, Kickstarter, or GameFound, or whatever platform you're using these days.
Yeah. So one of the Kickstarters that got fulfilled right before Christmas, and I think I've talked the years past, like once it gets to December, my wife does not let me, any package that comes, whether it's Amazon, Kickstarter, whatever, I can't open. It just needs to go under the tree. So on Christmas morning, I usually have like the biggest pile of presents under the tree. Although most of them aren't wrapped, they're just plain cardboard boxes. One of them was, I wasn't even sure what this was. I'm like, oh, this is I don't know what Kickstarter this is. I didn't recognize the thing. And it was so I think I talked about when I pledged for this way back then, was Thunder Road, the wonderful classic board game that was redone by Restoration Games, whatever it was now, 3 years ago. And I don't have it in front of me. I can't remember what some company basically put together a RPG based on Thunder Road. And it's hilarious. Like, I like what they did. Like, it's just, they went full all in like each of your characters, you're basically you're the person, but you're really the car. You're really like, because if you're in Thunder Road, you have the big truck or the bike or whatever. So like those are kind of your classes, are like, which one of the vehicles are you driving, or on some of that. And then also, like, I think and then the mechanics are kind of based on the dice that are for like I think the bike is like a D4 and D6 and whatever. And then, very kind of just some of the scenarios I kind of like the story is, very kind of simple, kind of fun, crunchy with a little bit of it's like you're trying to get from A to B, a little bit of Road Warrior, classic kind of thing. So I really appreciated the imagination that went into it. Whether it's one of those ones, whether you ever play it or not, but it was like fun just to flip through and read, and how they went full in the style. They did a really nice job with the layout and style too. So, and it wasn't, I don't know, it actually wasn't that expensive around some of that stuff too. So again, one of these, just mostly just my love of Thunder Road was like, I have to get this and experience it. And There was a lot of, and it's pretty cool. It's a nice kind of fun thing to have on the shelf.
Bryce, any big boxes arriving or anything before we move on?
I think I only have one out there, and it'll just never come, which is good for my marriage. So
yeah, I'm confident that none of the projects I had backed will ever fulfill. One from Game Trays on GameFound called Forsaken, which hit a bunch of legal IP struggles and then updates slowed to a crawl, and then the other is the Dead Keep from Simon, and yeah, we're never going to see him. So that'll be the last update for the next 18 months until I get, your project has failed and your company is bankrupt notification.
when did they tell you that? Only when they go bankrupt and actually close? Or
I don't think they even
never?
do
Just-
actually tell you. I think it just
It's just never,
the campaign just never, buyer beware, I guess. You're buying a ticket to maybe get a game.
I'm sure that's in the disclaimer that I've never read.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
in the TOS that I clicked OK and say give me my games. How about any other items of geekery or things you're checking out before we get into the library?
Yeah, so it's funny. This is where I admit that I do listen to you guys when I'm not on the show, because last time I think Troy was talking about how he started watching Mighty Nine, and he was talking about where their campaign starts, and maybe it was at the circus with the zombie toad and that, and I was like yelling at my truck radio saying, "Yes, guys, come on, it was this."
I was so I was right, because I was like, it was
You
like
were
a
right.
carnival.
We were trying to tell you you were
something.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the first two episodes of the campaign, so I didn't watch the prior one because I didn't listen to the first season of Critical Role. So maybe I'll go back and watch it. But I was shocked. It's a good show. It's done really well and all that. But I was shocked by how little of the story was in this first season, and also how short the season was. And I know that's kind of the world we live in, where 8 to 10 episodes is what we get. But for something like this, I expected 20 episodes and to actually progress through the story. But I mean, I won't spoil it. But you don't meet a character that's a main character until later in the season. And a very big thing happens very early in the campaign. And if you go back and listen to 3 years ago, you'll know what it is. But that doesn't even happen in this first season. So I was shocked by how little it progressed, but also how much they've expanded some of the plot of the story and things like that. So did you guys keep going? Ty, I don't know if you even started, or Troy, if you've continued.
No, I haven't gone too much further on that. But that, again, it's similar again to what they did for first season, because I think there's 3 seasons of that.
Yeah.
And that still only gets the story, I don't know, maybe is it even half? It's like I don't know, roughly, right? It's somewhere maybe in 60% maybe is where that story is.
Briarwoods, I think, and Chroma Conclave conflicts, but they don't advance to like the
it's not that whole last arc at all. So so I think they're trying to, again, they'll milk it for, I imagine, the Mighty Nine. Then they'd probably have a plan to do like 5 seasons, probably, if they have people money and stuff to do it, right? I think is what they're kind of, if that which is similar to what they did for the first one. But I have no, unlike the first one, I have no, as you know, Bryce, I have no idea what the plot is. I kind of do. You kind of, because you listen enough and whatever, I kind of know some of those characters and things like that. It's hard not to around that, but
yeah. And then my second thing I think is funny, because I'll age Troy, but I watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I haven't watched any of the newish, like 2009 to
the remodel,
forward
reboot one.
And I watched it, and I like actually loved it. And I know it's 2 years old and whatever, but then I was like, I'm going all the way back. So I went back to 1964, and it was like, we're watching this from the beginning. I made it like 10 minutes in, but I'm committed to doing it this year and watching every Planet of the Apes
so
movie.
bad. The early ones were so bad.
They're
Yeah,
not
it's
so. I
tough.
mean, the original Planet of the Apes has got. Again, I might be nostalgic because I have not seen them in 30 years. Maybe it's probably been that long since I've. But I mean, for their time, they at least the first they start again like most things. The sequels kind of all started to jump the shark pretty quickly, but I think the first couple were pretty good.
Yeah.
You got Charlton Heston, man, one of the greatest actors of all time.
See, that's why I made sure to include this because I knew Troy was going to be passionate.
Yeah. It was. I mean, we didn't have sci-fi back in the day. We
Yeah,
lived and died for like anything that was like even
plastic
close.
monkey masks.
You know, you're like whatever. Look,
Yeah. Statue of Liberty, beach shots. Yeah. Yep.
no.
Oh, yeah. All right. We will do a rebroadcast and watch along commentary of the
Oh,
Planet
wow,
of the
yes.
Apes
Oh,
movies for episode 99.
Our what is the guys?
Mystery Science Theater.
Mr. C. That's what I was looking for. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be our version. There we go.
Yeah. Dibs on being a robot in the bottom corner. Oh, that show needs to come back. All right. Library. I'm gonna dive in. So Bryce, you'll be very, very happy to know that I am 3 books into the Primal Hunter.
Heck yeah.
Zogarth, because all of these lit RPGs aren't written by real people. I'm enjoying it.
Come on.
I'm enjoying it. I think it is not up to the level, obviously, the production value of like Dungeon Crawler Carl. So
It's
like
still good, right? Like better than
good
a
progression.
lot of other audiobooks.
Good progression story. Yeah. Narration's decent. Character motivations are a little weird, but like what's strange here is after years of not playing MMOs, I'm like fully back into like progression, level up, get gear, allocate skill points. So like my mental state right now is like progression, try to get to max level MMO and then go kill big monsters. And this book is like progression, level up, go kill big monsters. And it's scratching a lit RPG itch. So I'll probably pause after I've got like an hour and a half left in the 3rd book, and listen to something else or do something else for a bit. But so far it's decent. I've taken other lit RPGs further and liked them less. I'm liking this a lot more than He Who Fights with Monsters. Like that series I'm just done with at book 4. But this one I'll keep going. So Primal Hunter, pretty good. Definitely I think if you're at all interested in lit RPG genre, it's one you should check out.
I think what I like about this one too is it doesn't do the like actual leveling and skill allocation points. Some of them get super painful when they do that, and then they read the character sheet, and you have to start to learn how many times to hit skip on the audiobook to not hear that.
Mhm.
This like he's clearly leveling and progressing and unlocking skills and things like that, but it doesn't go into the details that no one wants to hear. Or even, I'm sure if you read the physical book, it's probably a chart or something.
Yeah,
and you'd your eyes would just flip over it, right? Yeah, it's always what the difficult part.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, I got it. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know the main character is likable. I think in He Who Fights with Monsters, the main character is not likable, and that was my
You
problem.
should be happy you're stopping that one now because you would hate that series after book 5 because his character in that is so bad. I almost stopped listening to it completely, and that's in that book, but made it to 14 somehow.
Got a lot of driving.
Yeah.
A lot of travel. Then so Matt Danner sent me a book via the mail because a couple years back I read Chain Gang All Stars, and I sent that I recommended that to him. He read it, loved it. And I'm forgetting the author's name, and I don't want to mispronounce it, but I'll try to send it for the show notes. For the his first book was a collection of short stories written in 2018 that was called Friday Black. They all deal with kind of race, like is at the center of the story, but not what the stories are about. Like one is a white man kills some black kids, and then young young people of color start enacting crimes, saying the names of the dead children as they kill like white couples or white people. And the main character talks about like his level of blackness for that day or that conversation on a scale of 1 to 10 and adjusting it given the scenario. And it makes me as a white, like very privileged individual think about concepts and things that I haven't really had to ever grasp with, like wrestle with. And they're very good short stories. Like I see why this author has like gotten the recognition he got from Chain Gang All Stars, and like this collection of stories is really good. But it's emotional enough and like kind of gritty enough that it's hard to read like more than one, because you really process and think about and like kind of do some reflection. But Friday Black is that short story collection that I'm almost done with. And then I went to, and I picked up a new book, but I went to a reading at Boswell Booksellers up on the east side of Milwaukee near the UWM campus. Mark Danielewski, he has written a number of things, but most widely known probably for The House of Leaves, the horror story, which is written in this really weird typeset that changes. His new book is called Tom's Crossing. It's advertised as a Western. It's a story that follows two kids as they take a trip to try to save two horses that are being sent to slaughter. But starts to deal with supernatural. It's set in Utah in the 80s, where he spent some time as a non-Mormon in Provo, Utah, in like probably the 80s. And so I think it's Orvop, which is Provo backwards, is the name of the town that they're in, and he doesn't use name, but his reading was really cool. He read like a 6-minute reading, and he said that's the limit. If you're going to a reading and they're going to read more than 6 minutes, they shouldn't. I've found that years of doing this is the right amount. But then he answered questions and just listening to his process, and I learned some things about House of Leaves, which were really cool. There's a series of letters written in House of Leaves that descend into kind of the madness of this mother writing to her son. You find out why they're separated, and you find out why she is like institutionalized through the letters and the tone. He talked about writing that. He was sick with like fever, and he had a notepad and he had 10 pencils. And he said he wrote like with the notepad up against his knees, like fighting off a horrific like flu on a notepad before like putting it into the book. That's when he wrote those letters. And like he shared some other stories just about his writing process. And the book is 1,400 pages long, Tom's Crossing, or 1,250 or something. It's massive. And it's so far it's a fun experience. Originally it was going to be a short story that he handed to his editor. He told his editor, and then 6 or 7 years later he handed over 1,800 pages and talked about how his editor trimmed out like 500 pages of text to get it to its current state. But it was really cool. Every so often I look at their schedule of who they have coming up. They're on the east side of Milwaukee. And
really good bookstore.
Yeah, are a really cool independent bookstore. One of few independent bookstores left. So always try to support them when I can. And then Stranger Things finale, watch that. And the Fallout premiere. So started to watch some new shows as well. I'll wait for the moratorium on spoilers for Stranger Things feelings and thoughts, and share them, a few months down the road.
I'm not there yet, at all. But
what have you guys?
With my wife being so sick, I haven't been able to, and it's killing me inside because I keep seeing things. I have to like get off my phone as fast as possible, but we'll get there. But reading, I read a book that a series I made you guys start way back when. I actually had kind of forgotten about it because of my lit RPG insanity over the last 2 years. But King's Dark Tidings, book 6, uh, came out like a year and a half ago, and book 7 actually just came out as well. So I
Oh
listened to
wow.
book 6, and it was nice to listen to an actual book for once instead of a lit RPG. It made me appreciate authors a little bit more. But I still have an addiction, so it was good. It was interesting because I always listen to Troy talk about his Malazan books and how he forgets everything that happened, and that's how can you forget? And I had no idea what was going on for the first 10 chapters of this book because I didn't remember anything I listened to prior. So it's an interesting experience catching your mind back up on the things that happened. And then this weird feeling of, well, should I go back and re-listen to it so I know what's happening, so I'm prepared? But
I saw
it was good.
something on social media today. An author wrote it, or an author retweeted it. It was every sequel should have a mandatory recap of the original book. Like at the front, like there should be, if you buy a sequel to a book, the sequel should have a recap, like a page or two of just refreshing your memory from what happened in the first one.
And that's
But I
what
was like, that's
if
a
you
great idea.
keep going on Primal Hunter, he starts to do that on book 11. He fully recaps the last book in like 2 minutes on Audible,
Oh,
and he tells it from the Viper's point of view. So it's like a funny recap
yeah.
of what happened. Okay, and ever since then, I just can't stand listening to a new book or the next book of a series because I want that and everything, and it doesn't come anywhere.
That's funny.
All right. Well,
Sure, we
maybe
got.
there might be a business idea there, Bryce. You could just get
Yeah.
have blurbs on and there. Sometimes you can find the internet, right? But we could use have one index site for any book. Here's
Sure.
your summary to go. I did get a couple of reads in. A book that I'm not sure that was needed to be written, but was written and actually very good. So John French, it's Drop Site Massacre, 40K book. We thought we were done with the Horus Heresy, but Black Library had other ideas. Because again, that was my thought. I saw this, I'm like, wait, like, why are we doing? Like, we've already done this, but it's probably the best book that didn't need to be written, and I'm actually glad to be written. So again, if you can go 40K lore, right? Drop Site Massacre. This is the big event at Isfahan 5, when basically it is the moment when they know that Horus has turned, but this is when all the other legions that they don't know have turned kind of ambush, and it's a big massacre and things like that. But John Fred, and this is funny. It goes back way back because this is all in the original book series. This is actually in the Fulgrim book, which is probably I've gone on record as that's my least favorite one of the least favorite, I should say. It's not of the 50 some whatever books. I was not excited about that, but it has this really crucial kind of part of the plot in there. So what's interesting is that now John French has redone it. So it's like, oh, here's the really cool part without all the boring part of Fulgrim's fall to chaos in there. So it's again for us that are deep into the Horus Heresy lore and whatever. I thought John French is a good. Again, I'll put him in he's probably now sliding into that third spot of my favorite Black Library authors around some of that stuff too. So really fun. You get some good character interaction, lots of Primarchs, lots of it is very good bolter porn, because in the end there is a lot of the actual fight and massacre and whatever, but he does a good job of making it interesting, and there's enough kind of characters and different points of view, a whole bunch of different points of view, which I think what makes it interesting and makes it feel like a big kind of thing happening, which it is. So, and then the other one was a collection, as you were not quite as you were talking about short story collection Tide. This was I ran into. It's The Egg and Other Stories by Andy Weir, so who's the author of Project Hail Mary and Martian and Artemis and so forth. Just to collect, and then I saw that, and probably because of all the hype around Project Hail Mary, that came out. I think this is about from 2017. I think he did. And I'll give it a good. I don't know what's my grade, B- on some of that. It's some interesting. I think there's a lot of interesting ideas in the short story. I'm not sure. Again, this is also an 8-year prior Andy Weir. Like, I don't think they're maybe executed from a writing perspective as well as they could be, but it was interesting. Like, I think there's some, like anything in a short story, which is cool, is you can just kind of throw out a really cool idea. You don't have to, you can leave a bunch of tight. And so it was, again, I don't know how many of us, like half a dozen stories or something in there. And they were probably, half of them were probably like, oh, that's pretty good. And half of them were like, okay, like that kind of stuff. But, and The Egg is, I think, again, The Egg has a really big idea around it, really kind of cool. I think from a writing perspective, maybe, I don't think like whatever, it's not Pat Rothfuss prose. That's not Andy Weir. So it's like, set your expectations, but it was fun. I mean, it's super short. Like, I think it's only probably a couple hours if you're listening to it. So it's a kind of you're not, it's fun to listen to and run through. So that was fun. So I don't know what I'm giving that one is. So I will give Dropsite Massacre a recommendation if you're into that stuff. And The Egg and Other Stories of Andy Weir, I will give a good, whatever, I don't know, like a half endorsement. Like if you're looking for something to read in a couple hours and you want to just, it's not going to hit the big heavy things as much as yours did, Ty, but there's some good, there are some kind of cool ideas that he kind of just throws out there around sci-fi stuff and people stuff and things like that too. So
very cool. I'm going to share one other book that I got as a gift. My wife has kept up the cool old D&D book gift giving. And Troy, you might recognize this one.
Yep.
It was the TSR publication, the second printing of Deities and Demigods, which was the last time that D&D included Cthulhu in their mythos. So got this one. I kept it in the bag. I don't want to take it out. I got to find some like framing way to display these to partner with the last one. But now I've got the old player's handbook and this. I've started my own museum of old D&D stuff. So someday maybe I can be cool like Alex Kammer and the Game Hole collection, but not yet.
How many pages of the time book did you read? That's like what I tune in for now.
Since the last time, like 4 more pages.
Okay.
I've entered a wormhole with that book and put it aside. I think I have to be in the right mood. I don't know.
It is dense.
I think I should have probably got it as an Audible book, and I would have had better luck getting through it. Having it as paper book, I feel like
maybe I flipped back a lot. I reread a ton. So Audible, I don't know that I would have like digested any of it because I remember when I went through, there was a lot where I'm like, wait, I need to go back and start and reference, because he does have some charts and things in there too.
Yeah.
Like, I need to look at the visual again and try and wrap my head again. Not that I ever understood anything, but just to try and pretend that I was getting anything he was.
Yeah, it's I pick it up for I'm gonna read a page, or I've got 10 minutes. I'm gonna, and then I don't. I put it aside, and now I've got a 1,400 page book. I can't call it a brick because he did make a joke about his friend uses ChatGPT for a lot of stuff, and he's like, his friend said, "What do you call it?" And he's like, "Well, it's a brick." And then he's like, "But I looked up what ChatGPT says a brick is, and it says that it's 5 by 4 inches and weighs more than whatever pound, like 5 pounds." He's like, "This weighs 3.6 pounds, not a brick." So we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about our favorite things from 2025. We are back. It is time to close out 2025 with everybody's favorite thing to do, and that's a favorite things of 2025. So this isn't going to be your top 10 board games. This isn't going to be your top 3 reads. Bryce, I know you're disappointed where we did books on the last episode.
I got left out.
We took that from you. But we are going to go through just a few of our favorite things from the previous year and random categories. So we don't all have the same categories. There might be some overlap, but ultimately, we're gonna share favorite things. So I will kick us off and start with my favorite Kickstarter. So I know I beg on Troy all the time about his Kickstarter addictions and passions, not addictions. That has connotations. I don't want that. His crowdfunding passions. But my favorite Kickstarter of 2025, and that was in November, Joe Abercrombie's personalized signed First Law trilogy with the incredible art and everything went up on Kickstarter, and I backed it instantly and will look forward to that. So that was my favorite Kickstarter of the year.
Would you say not just of the year, of all time?
Oh, it's up there. It's up there. My favorite Kickstarter of all time. Wow.
I know that's a loaded question for just item one here, but this feels like not a Kickstarter, but a gift made personally for Ty that you had to pay for.
Yeah. I mean, really, that is true. It's up there for sure. I'd have to look back and confirm. It's definitely top 3, if not top 1. Because I think about like the original Zombicide and the joy and fun that came from that, and I think about some of the RPG projects, that I've funded. Like if I think about like Backer Kit and seeing like stuff go up from friends, but it's up there. Very, very good. Definitely best of last year though. All right, Bryce, what's one of your top favorite things? Top 5 favorites.
Yeah, you guys thought you could hold me back from listing a book, but you didn't say I couldn't list a book here, so I went with favorite book of 2025, and it fits right in from everything we've talked about. For me, it was Primal Hunter 13. So there's a long way to go, Ty, but it's a really cool way to set up what we'll call the next stage of the story. And there's this thing that's hinted at throughout the first 12 books that you want to know more about and you never really know anything about. And you finally, in this book, see that thing come to fruition and what it could be and some of the really interesting implications of what that means for the future and things like that. So it's just a really good book. And it's like 13 and 14 are almost 2 books that are 1 book type of situation, where it continues the story on, but 13 really took it to the next level of we're finally moving along in the story and making big things happen. So that was a fun one for me.
Very cool. I'm yeah. I don't know if I'll get to 13 anytime soon, but someday I will, and I'll look back at this and like, oh, that's what Bryce was hinting at.
Yeah.
Troy?
Sure, I'm going to stay on books since we're not talking about books on this one. So when I had my list, and I've talked about it, is the Broken Bindings special edition of the Malazan books. And over this year, I've gotten one. They did 1 through 6. The 4, 5, and 6 just showed up. Oh, they were under my Christmas tree too because they came in December, and I saved to open it. That one I knew it was open. So they are all up on my bookshelf with the painted pages out. So it's like the mural of the first 6 books are there. So again, it was just a lot of joy of, I mean, you're not even reading the book. You're just holding up this artifact. That's what I always think of these books now is like, because most of the time I listen to it or whatever. And the actual book I buy is usually not something I read anymore. It's really an artifact that reminds me of the book that I read. And that's exactly what these are. And these are pretty good. Yeah, the Broken Binding, they've been doing a nice job of some really cool stuff. But yeah, the whatever it is now, it's probably getting, I should put it in the camera. I don't know how, it's probably a good foot of books. I don't know, right? I don't even know what the page, I mean, those are almost all probably not 1,000. They're probably 800 to 900 page books, right? 7 to 8. I don't know what it is. Yeah. So somebody do the math. Maybe 5,000. There might be 5,000 pages of books there in those 6 books or something like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's do snake draft style, and you get to bring it back with another one.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. I'm going to stay on book related. So I think my favorite event of the year, it was hard. Like, there's a lot of fun things we did and whatever, but I did get to go to the Joel Abercrombie signing kind of interview with Patrick Rothfuss, which was, again, the fact that it was not just Joe Abercrombie, but it was Joe and Pat, just over the top. Like, it just was a pure bliss for a couple hours, even though you spent a lot of that time sitting and waiting and whatever around that. So yeah, lots of just really cool memory for doing and getting to actually meet Joe and exchange the two sentences that you get to do with that, and again seeing Pat Rothfuss again for whatever this is now, over the years that we've been fans of his, which is crazy, getting on almost 20 years probably. At least, yeah, whatever, 15, 16 years since Name of the Wind came out and stuff like that. So that was, again, one of my favorite, as I went back and just thought about one of the favorite things I did this year. That was pretty cool.
Awesome. Bryce, how about you?
I'll mix it up a little bit and go into miniatures. So I always like to look across the board, and it almost always goes back to GW because their models are just really good. And for me this year, the miniature of the year award goes to Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon model that came out with that new range of models in the old world. For some reason, I've always loved that aesthetic of the Japanese, Chinese, East Asian kind of theme, and that whole range is so cool. I'll never buy it. I'll never play Old World, but if I were to, it would be that range, and that model is just so cool. I love that style of dragon, and it's there's so many well painted ones out there on the internet. You can just look through them and some of the conversions, and it's just really cool to see them do something that was completely new and different from anything that I've ever seen GW do.
Yep. I'm so far out of the GW loop that I had to just go Google image search this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Cathay. That's the Cathay Army or whatever. Yeah, I think it made a lot, like Bryce. Yeah, all these. I'm like, I would never play Old World. I would never whatever. But you're like, man, wouldn't it be really cool to? It just goes through your mind like, oh, those are really cool. Maybe I should. No, shouldn't buy that. But
yeah, I mean, that's a put on the shelf army and show it off. You could paint that thing in such a cool way, and it really, I'd say, in the last few years from GW, that's the most impressive army release that I've seen them do.
Very cool. I sadly don't have any miniatures on my list, Bryce, but I will come back at you with and I did agree. I always struggle with just picking one of anything. So I have several of these that are like favorite and honorable mentions. So 2025 was the year that I got back into another hobby of mine from when I was a kid, and that was sports cards. I did a lot of sports card collecting, and opened a lot of different football, basketball, baseball cards and sets. But as far as things that they didn't have when I was a kid that now they have, which I really enjoyed, is chrome. So like foil cards, chrome, they're the very shiny, high gloss, metallic. So Topps does an entire set that is all chrome of Topps Chrome baseball. Really, really fun to open, really cool to see. And then they do the same for Bowman. Bowman is generally like guys that are in the minor leagues or guys that have just been drafted and may not be yet in the minors. And there's a lot of autographs. So like there you're chasing an auto for a guy that maybe someday will, make the league and become a superstar. And then you're like, hey, I've got his first signed card or something. So, and they do a Bowman Chrome. So those are my two favorite sets and packs to open with Landon and I on our sports card journey over the last year or so. So
do you keep all the cards, or do you have like a giant box full of cards, or
I
do
have
you give them away? Or
I have many boxes now full of cards from our last year or so of collecting. Some of which are behind me on the table.
I see one box.
to,
Yeah.
to
see. So yeah, I've done a good job of at least putting them away so they're not like scattered laying out everywhere now. But several boxes on the shelf.
I love how those things come back around. It's like I have these huge boxes from when I was a kid that are like 7 foot long somehow. They're 1 card wide, but 7 foot long. And I remember it for 25 years. They were in my dad's basement, and then it flooded and they're gone now. But it's like, man, I love how things like that just come back around in time. And it's funny to think like what's going to be the next fad that comes back that like babies all in that I was all in as a kid.
There'll be something for sure. It's the way it works, cyclical, right? Like these things
Yeah.
come back and you see it and you're like, oh man. And then you get bit by the bug again. And let's go to favorite board games. And these weren't necessarily released in the last year, but I played some really cool games and they were all new to me. So one of them, I'm gonna start with what I bought for Adepticon specifically to bring for the library, the Geek Nation Tours, BOD Playin and Slayin partnership board game lounge. It was SETI. SETI is a Euro worker placement set collection engine building game where you are trying to explore space to find alien life forms. Really complicated, really kind of like overly I don't know not overly designed, but like tons of components, really high production value, kind of over the top how they made everything work together. But got a chance to play it at Game Hall with Danner and really enjoyed it. Looking forward to getting it to the table again someday. But that was one that was good. Then maybe one of my favorite experiences playing a game in recent years was Vantage. So that is the exploration game where you're looking at a card. We've played it. We've talked about it. And hope to play it again soon. But Vantage has been solid every time I've played it. And then the most recent one that I've really liked the 2 times I've played and had very thematic, very fun ones was the Fate of the Fellowship, which is like the Lord of the Rings version of Pandemic. I think using the pandemic like kind of system they call it. But that was really fun, and I know Troy, you and I played that recently and talked about it on a recent episode as well.
That might be a weekender. Put it on my list for the weekender. Maybe we'll see it. Put that on there too.
Fate of the Fellowship, yeah, do that. Josh has to be Frodo though.
Oh yeah.
And Bryce has to be Legolas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't know who's up. Somebody share.
Now we go to Bryce. Now
Back
we go to
to me,
Bryce.
yeah.
Now,
All right, so I went with best show of 2026, and I don't know if this is really the best show, but it's the best show that's redeemed something for me in my life, and it's The Penguin. And I think I genuinely cannot think of a single thing made by DC that doesn't include the word Dark Knight that was worth watching or worth anything until this show came out. It's super good. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, but it's just everything you want in that world. Dark Penguin, like just true violence and very good. Glad it was done on HBO because they take things to the extreme, and it's really worth checking out. It doesn't even really feel like it's a superhero type show, but it's very good and very like Gotham gang violence. So check it out.
I need to know, have you watched Peacemaker with John Cena?
Yes, I have.
Listen,
I love John Cena, so I'm biased, but like that's a show where it's fun and funny, but
yeah,
most of the DC stuff is tough. Sorry,
Like,
Troy. You're not a DC guy though, right? Not at all. You're a
No,
Marvel guy, through and
I mean,
through.
I'll dive into. I mean, Batman's probably where I touch in there.
you mean the world's greatest detective?
Yeah, some of that. I mean, the
Batman.
Return of the Dark Knight is one of the that graphic novel, the Frank Miller graphic novel, to me is one of the on a pedestal. Like that is one of the top. There's these set of comic book kind of graphic novel stories. I go that again, like you were saying, Dark Phoenix for me was my friend back in it was probably 83 or something like that. He's like, here, and he literally handed me the set of it wasn't even it was all the you need to read these
Individuals. That's
individuals thing of these things, and that was the kind of these are really cool, right? Yeah, it's that's what got me on my journey was that saga. But yeah, but yeah, DC a little bit. And what's the other? There's Kingdom Come. There's a few. I mean, there's a few things in DC. I think they again, it's all about storytelling and writing, right? You go who are the writers, and it doesn't necessarily matter who the heroes are, but yeah, some of the stronger writers there too. So, all right, is it back to me, and I get to loop it back? So I'm gonna go off in the left field, not talking about baseball cards, but the and again, as I was just going through this over the last couple of weeks, just what are everything, and I think I talked about it at Gamehole. I had bought I don't drink coffee, but Smuggler's Coffee, who is there, does all its stuff, all the different kind of coffee beans and coffees that they do. I'm sure they're good. I don't know, but they also do special. They do special limited edition hot sauces. And I bought one. And what made me think about this is I have never gone through a bottle of hot sauce so fast. This was so good. I was just putting on everything I could find to put on. And I put hot sauce on a lot of stuff, but all of a sudden I was like, man, I had emptied that bottle so quick. And then I'm sad because now they don't do these, they only do hot sauce runs every once in a while, and you have to kind of find them, whatever. So I'll just recommend if you ever see them, and grab it, and whatever, I'm sure whatever they're trying, their new version will be as good as this one they did last. But it was just kind of one of these fun kind of gaming adjacent kind of things that I got a lot of enjoyment out of, a lot of good food out of. So and then another one, it was a little bit of a surprise. I think I had talked about this Book of Dragons, which was it's a whatever the DK publishing brand is. They've done some of these. They do a lot of gaming stuff. They've done the 40K Ultimate Universe, whatever they did. They also did from on the D&D side the Legend of Drist. I think I told you years ago, where they kind of just went through and talked about all the. Again, it was a cool kind of. I don't know. It's like what a coffee table book. It's a lot of pictures and just different descriptions, but really in depth, right? All these different things. And then he did one, and the same one who did Drist, the Drist book, did this Book of Dragons. Michael Whitwer, I believe is his name. Kind of a cool coffee table book. It was something and I ended up buying it. Sarah and I bought it at Dragon Days in Lake Geneva. We were at the Lake Geneva Museum, where they had some stuff in there. What was funny, and what actually got it on the list, I mean, it's a really cool book. I recommend it. What got on the list is I had just recently taken it off the shelf, and was as I was I was rearranging my shelf to get the Malazan books to fit. So I had pulled it off, and then you get, again, also you get sucked in, I'll start reading this book that and what I realized that it is a signed copy that because I had bought it, at that library special event, there was a signed. I didn't realize I was buying a signed version, so it was a surprise signed version. That was oh, well, that's doubly cool. One, because we got it. I mean, it was a cool book. I got it at a cool event at a cool place, and then I realized it's actually signed by the author, and I didn't even realize it. So, so that's my other kind of favorite thing of the year. So,
excellent.
I have an honorable mention because I couldn't remember the name of it, and I couldn't remember if it came out in 2025. But you'll know the second I start talking about it. So, at a weekender, I think the last weekender we had, so probably was 2024, Ty made me sit down and watch a 6-minute video on Amazon Prime of a D&D adventure that ended with Tiamat. And was that 24? I think so, right?
Yeah, that was
Probably.
December of 24. Yep.
So
Yep.
close.
Secret level.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
honorable mention. Yep. But I think I watched that 100 times and I loved every second of it. My dream in life is to play a level 15 to 20 campaign that ends with Tiamat, Ty. But my actual selection then is I did a Marvel miniature because I'm biased. So shockingly not Phoenix. That was right there in the running, but Ronin. I love the Ronin model so much. It's just a really awesome pose with the swords out in this Predator mode. And Ronin's always been one of those kind of anti-heroes that I've really, really liked. And there's some really cool comics around him. So that's my choice for Marvel miniature of the year.
Marvel miniature. I like that Marvel got its own category.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't think I own that one. That's great. I have to take a look at that.
It was like a September release. It comes with 2 others. I forget who they are, but yeah, it's a cool one.
Excellent. Well, I don't have any minis on mine, but this last year I did. So my brother had lived by me the last few years. He moved in June, and I spent more time with him after he moved than I did probably the last several years because we started playing computer games together, and we played Dune on Steam, like the Dune MMO, for hundreds of hours. And then Matt, so Danner, who also lives in Seattle and hasn't lived nearby, and talk to but don't get to spend all that much time with him. The 3 of us played a ton of Dune. We then played tons of Arc Raiders, and then now we're playing tons of Ashes of Creation. So like evenings, after family starts to go to bed, it's get online, go hang out with them and play, computer games. So Dune, Arc Raiders, and Ashes of Creation have been my top plays. Like if you were to look at your Steam like rewind of what you've been playing, it's like 600 hours of Dune, 400 hours of Arc Raiders, 300 hours, and those are inflated totals, I believe. But 6 months of computer games distilled down into those 3. So.
Is that your last, or you have one more? You have one.
Now
more.
he's circling back, and now he's
I have
circling
one more.
back.
I have one
Yeah,
more.
circling back.
So I did, and Troy and I always talk about how we buy RPG books, and we never play them, but we collect them, we read them, we cherish them. My favorite RPG books acquired in the last year, so not published, but acquired, Morkborg / Pirate Borg. I picked those up at Gen Con. Really fun books. They've been a lot of fun to kind of flip through and think about. The 1,000-year-old vampire, talked about. That's the solo journaling game. That book's been super fun to flip through and digest. And then the Daggerheart starter set, box set that came out. That book is beautiful. The art's really cool. They did a nice job of kind of putting that together into like a here are the cards, here's the book. But those are my top RPG acquisitions.
Cool. I keep looking at Daggerheart and deciding if I need to buy it or not. But
I mean, you should buy the book.
Yeah, and just to kind of digest it. Yep.
Maybe someday we'll play it.
All right. Last one for me. I did, because I'm sappy, the best moment of 2025 in the gaming universe. And I didn't do many pick 2s like you did, Ty, but this one I couldn't decide between the 2. So I had 2. Graf was so kind to invite me over to a game night with his crew. And it was just at a crazy time in my life where work takes up everything and my child and family take up the rest, which is fine. But it was just so relieving to have that night and that opportunity to go just play games with some new people. And then Ty and unfortunately Troy couldn't make it, but Josh came up a weekend this summer and we just hung out in the garage and played games. And it's it sounds silly because you guys get to play games together all the time, but those moments are so special to me because it's so hard to find that time and to make it happen in this stage of my life. So it's super just rewarding and wonderful when it does happen.
100% stamp of approval, full send. Play more games. Game night is cherished.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'll bring it hose it out. I'll close it out. Similar in that mine's kind of a series of events. But I look back on this year, I've had one of my favorite things, as I've talked about a lot, is Eric and I just about halfway through the year, whatever it was, we were playing Kill Team, and then we basically just started planning a monthly, whether it was some kind of Kill Team, Combat Patrol game. We'd play it, and then we'd basically, when we finished, we're like, when do we want to play next month? What do we want to and it's just been just a lot of fun. Again, love playing with Eric. I think we both have we come at the game at the same, we're not very, it's not serious. It's just like, what do we throw it on the table? Let's have some fun. Get through there, and it's, again, and we also live not too far. It just works out a million different ways, whether I'm at his and he's got his cool kind of pad in his basement, or we're here. It's been that, so I really enjoy that. And again, it's kind of that, me, I'm a 40K diehard, whatever, so it's fun to continue to, again, I don't, playing big 2,000 point games every once in a great while, so it is nice to have these kind of 40K adjacent kind of things that we can do and knock out in less than 3 hours and an evening and have a lot of fun. So yeah, so I want to thank Eric for that. It's been fun, and we'll continue to probably do that into 2026 here. So
the BOD Grognards Club.
Yeah. Yeah, and Eric being retired when he's not moonlighting at GW. Yeah, it gives him plenty of time to be a play partner for sure.
Well, 2025 was an adventure, and that is some of our top moments. And certainly it goes without saying, I will have to look back and see if it was 10 episodes or 11 that we got. I forget the total, but those,
we were really close. We were really close. This one, we didn't get a December episode out, but we're really close to, again, in all the years that we've been doing Playin Slayin, we probably averaged 10.
Yeah.
This year we were really close to actually getting one a month out rather than our 1.1 a month or something like that. So,
but each of those certainly is a moment too that didn't make the list, but I do enjoy recording, and it has been a fun year of getting Bryce back, having some time with Josh earlier in the year. Maybe we'll get him back in 2026, but Troy, the stable presence at my side for every one of my rants. But certainly, it goes without saying those moments are Top's favorite things for 2025 as well. Now we're going to do what we always do, which is talk about what events are coming up and what things we're going to be doing. But first, want to bring all of your attention to a little bit of a giveaway. So our friends at Adepticon have provided us with a code for $100 credit for their system. So it could be registration, could be merch, could be anything really on that Adepticon cart, a credit of $100 to give away. So we're going to implement a little challenge here to you, the listener, the viewer, because we are going to make you go to YouTube to enter into this challenge. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, to enter into the drawing that will be held at the end of January, and then we will share the winner on our recording in February as we kind of get to our next one. But the $100 Adepticon cart credit, to be eligible for the random number generated drawing that will take place, you must like episode 98 when it hits YouTube and make a comment about what you are looking forward to at Adepticon. Or if you're not attending Adepticon because maybe you can't make it, or
you're going on a spring break vacation or something like that, you can just simply do a hashtag Adepticon in the comments. But what you're looking forward to, but make sure you mention Adepticon for us and like the episode. And then we will hold a drawing for that at the end of January. So you won't be able to use it when the cart goes live in this weekend, January 11th.
Yeah, as we're recording this, the way timing kind of worked out, whatever. We're not gonna be able to get it in your hands for the initial registration, but
there are always events that come up that you add late, or merch that you
add a sweatshirt.
Yeah. So there will be a way to use it. But thanks to Adepticon for providing that, and looking forward to see how many people go and enter to get a chance to win. So,
so maybe we'll make it. So if you want to be in the drawing, put a comment in there what you want to play, and please let's put #Adepticon BOD. That way it'll make it very unique.
Hashtag
Adepticon BOD. And then that'll signal me that then you'll be in the scheme to have a chance to win it. And I will put that in the YouTube notes there for people so they don't have to. You'll have to listen anyway, but if people read I'll put it in the notes for the YouTube there too. So.
And certainly last year we did several videos leading up to Adepticon in Milwaukee. Go check those out. Our Adepticon Milwaukee preview, talking about where to eat, where to drink, where to hang out. We will likely do another 1 or 2 of those as we head towards Adepticon year 2 in Milwaukee coming up. Those dates are in March 25th through the 29th. At the Baird Center in downtown. That cart does go live for registration for events January 11th, where you can find Space Hulk, Zombicide, Marvel Crisis Protocol, some Trench Crusade narrative events that the BOD will be doing, but certainly plenty of other opportunities to register for. So Adepticon's the big one coming up, but you did mention, Troy, you're running some games at Midwinter. In Waukesha, I call it Milwaukee West, but Pewaukee, Wisconsin, at the Ingleside Hotel Conference Center, which is about 20-ish miles west of Milwaukee, right off of the freeway, which is super convenient and nice. It's a little board game convention, plenty of things to do. I'll probably drop through on Saturday for a little bit before I go out to my game night Saturday night out that way. But otherwise, until then, we've got a weekender coming in a couple weeks, so we'll have some games to play with Josh and Bryce and Troy, and talk about in the next episode. Other than that, Troy, any events, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're in kind of the run up here to Adepticon. Yeah, hopefully, again, we are recording this. What is today? The Tuesday before. So I think it's the 6th today. So hopefully you may be listening to this right before either the Adepticon cart goes live or Midwinter is probably going on right now as it starts on, I think, the Thursday on the 8th, on some of that. So if I did my job, you may be listening to this now, but people don't listen when it comes out. So you may be listening to it after the fact. So apologize for that. But it's all Adepticon, and now it's all like, right. I need to get, we all have a bunch of events to figure out for Adepticon, but I don't have too much to do. I don't know. I don't have, it's one of those, just like the Zombicide thing that I'm like, I don't have anything to do, and I continue to work on it. So Space Hulk will be the same thing, because I think John and I still have a handful of things like, oh, we could do this, this, and this, and I don't know. We'll do half of those things probably.
All right. Well, please do leave us a review on any service you listen to. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Add the comment if you want to be entered into that drawing with your like on YouTube. But otherwise, you can always reach us, info@basementofdeath.com, basementofdeath.com, or playinandslayin.com, or you can find us on Goonhammer and their media network. Highly encourage you to go check out Goonhammer and some of the events Goonhammer is running. They're doing a at Trench Crusade. They put a kind of a pack, very, very high level production value out. You can be a Patreon at Goonhammer, and then you can listen to the campaign trail where Raph and I talk about campaign games. We're due for a new episode coming up soon. Get an update on Raph's Relic Blade campaign and some of the additional planning that's going into the Trench Crusade narrative event. Other than that, I mean, any final thoughts, Bryce, Troy, before we close?
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Excited for
Happy New Year.
2026.
I like even number years. Good things happen. I was born in 82. I don't know what else happened in
Other stuff.
years.
Definitely
I was born in 82.
I don't know. I had a coworker, and she had a very good, as we were talking about New Year and whatever, as it came back, and I think it rings true. She's like, 2026 sounds like a science, doesn't sound like a real year. It sounds like a science fiction year, like one of those, like when we were younger, like, oh, in 2026 we'll be on Jupiter or something, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're right. It does not sound like 2025. I don't know. It sounded okay. For some reason, 2026 does sound a little bit more like a made up year that happens in the far future. So.
Well,
It's very realistic that this year we get the robots that take over the world with all this AI stuff that's happening. So,
absolutely.
I mean, it definitely is going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll reach the singularity. In other positive news, though, when the robots take over, my son likes to inform me that they're going to be called clankers, and he will insult them by calling them clankers. So just keep that in mind, Bryce, that when the robots try to take over, just call them a clanker and point to
Don't we want to be nice to them?
maybe. I don't know.
Bullying?
Landon thinks otherwise. I don't know.
All right. I mean,
I don't
he's
know.
more in on it than I am, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe he's got a plan. Maybe he'll win the war. He'll be our version of, is it John Connor in Terminator? Is that Sarah Connor's son? Yeah. All right. Well, guys, it's been fun. Thank you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Keep the dice rolling, the drinks on ice, and no matter what, keep playing and slaying.